Hello and welcome to the National Membership Kickoff. Please welcome our host for this evening, Chairman of the National Membership Committee, Freddie Norton.
Welcome, and thank you so much for participating in this, what we believe will be a wonderful opportunity for you to prepare for our fall membership kickoff. We have over 1,000 folks who have already joined so far, and the number continues to grow. And we just know that this is a wonderful opportunity for you to prepare. And this program, driven by volunteers, is so thankful for your taking the time to learn what we have to offer tonight. It wouldn't be a scout meeting without a safety moment. And I'm pleased to introduce Council Service Territory 14 Membership Lead, Faye Hammonds from the Atlanta Area Council to do just that. Faye, take it away.
Thank you, Freddie, and good evening, everyone. Here are some safety considerations for back-to-school night recruitment events. Number one, parking lot lighting. You want to ensure that the parking lot is well lit, especially if the event extends into the evening hours. Consider temporary lighting solutions if permanent lighting is inadequate. Number two, parking lot monitors. Assign individuals to monitor the parking lots and assist children and parents as they arrive. Ensure that the monitors are wearing reflective vests for visibility and safety. Number three, safe placement of yard signs. Follow all traffic and pedestrian rules while placing yard signs. Be aware of your surroundings and watch for oncoming traffic. And finally, avoid placing yard and recruitment signs where they obstruct views around the schools, especially near crosswalks and intersections. Ensure that signs do not block the view of drivers or pedestrians. By considering these safety measures, you can create a secure and welcoming environment for your back-to-school night recruitment event. That concludes the safety moment. Back to you, Freddie.
Thank you again, Faye. You know, we again appreciate your participation tonight. Our numbers are growing to over 1,300, and we know that you will learn a lot from what we have to offer tonight. The question and answer, the Q&A, will be open for you to post your questions, which we'll attempt to respond to as many as we can during our presentation, but we'll also keep a record of those so that we can respond to those later on after our presentation. Bertie, would you advance the slides? Our collective objective this year is 1,075,000 members. Today, 787,314. That's 287,686 to go. Something that we can do as we bring new scouts into the fold this fall. Next slide, Bertie. We're so happy to have the top leadership to speak to you tonight. Welcome Brad Tilden, our National Chair, who will be followed by Roger Crone, our Chief Executive. Brad, the floor is yours.
Thanks very much, Freddie. Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. Thanks for doing everything you're going to do to help us try to grow this movement this fall. Most importantly, just thank you for being a leader in this program. Many of us have benefited from this program. We know that our lives are much better, much richer for young people to go through this program. And I know, we all know that this program is delivered by volunteers. And the ones that I appreciate the most are those of you that are in church basements, in school gymnasiums, Lions clubs, just with the young people trying to deliver this fantastic program. There's really just 2 or 3 messages I have for you tonight. One is if you're needing motivation to get in front of people, I just really encourage you to think about what this, you already know the benefit of this program. I look at the world today, and I look at our country, I look at leadership, I look at families, and I also look at kids themselves. And it's a lot tougher to be a kid in 2025 than it was in 1973. And I'll just say, I know that this program is good for these kids. It'll get them outside, get them off the couch, get them the device away from them at least for a little bit, and get them challenging themselves and getting more rugged and more resilient and outdoors and with friends, and really, really importantly, failing in a safe place where they sort of get used to getting knocked down, but also getting themselves back up and getting that confidence and that competence that are skills that are going to help them win. So anyway, thank you. It's a great program. I want to remind us all, I think we all know that this program, every single kid in this country can join this program. We're not political. We're trying to do is keep the ball in the middle of the fairway and focus on changing the world, changing families, changing the lives of these young people. So please keep that in mind. One final thing I do want to say before I hand this over to Roger Crone, our fantastic CEO, is that Devang and I and Roger spent a fair bit of time at Philmont this summer. We spent time at Commissioner Week, and then we went back for the training program, and then for the Council of Chiefs for the OA. And one of the things that was really impressed upon me is that one of the best things we can do to grow scouting is to hang on to the kids that we have and hang on to the families that we have. And so as you think about the fall, please bang all the pots and pans, go out crazy, do everything you can to sort of fill the coffers with new scouts. But those of you that are sort of leading units now or in the Commissioner Corps or whatever, one of the most important things we can do is to hang on to every one of the families and every one of the young people that we have already. And one thing in that regard, a point people ask me to make, and I'm very happy to do it, is get our leaders trained. If we know this, if this program, if we know that it's being delivered by trained leaders, we have a much better chance of the kids having a fantastic experience with us. And if they do have a great experience, they'll stay with us. So anyway, I'm going to close with where I started. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's go get them. I'm really looking forward to a fantastic recruiting season. And with that, I'm going to turn this over to Roger, and I'm going to stay tuned and listen for your question, listen to hear what's on your mind. Thank you all. And over to you, Roger.
Hey, great. Hey, thanks, Brad. And Brad and I often sound alike, by the way. So you'll find Devang the same way. One of my memories of our time at Philmont was when we got up on the stage together. People said, "Wow, seems like everybody's aligned." And what Brad worries about is what I worry about, and what Devang worries about, and that's serving more kids, making more change in this country and in this world. But I'm going to repeat a lot of what Brad said because it's
sorry about that.
so true, right? So first of all, thank you for donating for many of you another evening to scouting. Thank you for what you're going to do over the next 2 months. This is probably the hardest 2 months that we have in scouting. August and September as kids come back to school and we really kick off the fall recruiting. So I know a lot of both our professionals or volunteers are going to work long hours during the day and going to work a normal work week and then be involved in the weekend. And we couldn't do it without you. And we really do understand how much time you put in. And it's that time, frankly, that makes the difference. This is, as you all know, kind of my second fall recruiting campaign as a leader in the movement. Clearly I was a scout and I was recruited, back in my days. And a lot of what we will talk about this evening is things that we learned from last year. What did we do well? What did we not do well? Right? Our marketing plan, which Michael is going to go through, we were late, right? And we signed up David Montgomery way too late in the program. So we're already on in our national marketing campaign, and Michael will tell you about that. The registration system. Thank you so much for the feedback. We knew it was clunky. We've modernized it. We've changed the electronic payment. And maybe most important, we didn't change anything in the process. We didn't change the fees, right? We didn't change how you renew, how you register. But we did do is we overhauled our IT and we created this AI chatbot called Scoutly, which is right now today in pilot with 51 councils, and it will be released across the movement on the 4th of August. And I went out on Scout League and I could register as a new member in under 5 minutes. And that will be hopefully a significant change to make your job easier. We're also going to talk about what we're doing in outfitters to support all the efforts that you've got. Sean McGinnis, who you'll meet for the first time, will discuss that. And then we're going to go through a little bit of some of the process work and how things flow. And we've got some great examples from some councils who are going to take us through that. This is just not about getting youth to join a unit. This really is about changing the world, right? And everybody kind of chagrins a little bit when we say that, but my life was changed, Brad's life was changed, Devang's life was changed, and frankly, many, many, many of your lives were changed because we joined. We overcame whatever those barriers were, and we joined the program, and the program had a lasting and profound effect on our lives. So you're going to hear a little different theme this year. Last year we had rebranded, we've done some other things. This year, we're really doubling down on this program prepares the youth in America for life. And, it's a phrase almost like, we empower young people with the confidence, the character, and the competence they need to thrive in life and lead with purpose to build a better country and a better world. By the way, that's a quote from Sean McGinnis from an offsite that we had this week. And as much fun as the kids have, when we're talking to a parent, we're going to double down on the message. You are worried about your child. You're worried about your child in this environment today. And our program, our organization addresses the things that keep you up at night. And so there'll be a little bit different theme, a little harder edge to some of our media and our influencers and what we have on social media and what we're doing on streaming, because we know that every parent of a child or a grandchild, in my case, is worried about the development of those youth and how they're going to get along in the world today. One other quick comment, and then I'll pass it back to Freddie, is I learned about the process last year. We tracked the traffic to beascout.org. We did a great job collectively of creating leads. I was a little disappointed that our lead closure didn't happen fast enough. And you'll hear a little bit more about that in the hour, that if somebody goes to beascout.org, that's a prospect. And in the commercial world, that's the most valuable thing you have in a campaign, is someone who has reached out. Some of the issues we've had is there isn't always a unit, right, for them to join. It may not be at the church that they go to, or it may not be in their neighborhood. We are again allowing new units to start with 3x3. And I think everybody knows we got 45 unit growth executives funded by Lilly. We funded another 15 out of national. And I know many of your councils funded a unit growth executive, because it may be the key to recruiting new youth, is not just getting them excited about the program, but having a unit for them to go to. And that probably is going to mean starting new units this fall. And again, we're extending, as we did last year. You can start a unit with 3x3, frankly, a credit card and an EIN number. So you can start a unit in a matter of weeks if you find that your traditional units are full. So I'm really excited about the campaign. I'm excited about the material that you're going to hear tonight. And I'm really thankful for what you all do for scouting and what you'll do for us over the next 2 months. Freddie, back to you.
Thank you, Roger. And thank you, Brad. It's great to hear from our top leaders, and you'll be hearing from National Commissioner Devang Desai later. Right now, I want to remind you that if you want to put questions into the Q&A, you can do that. If we have time, we'll attempt to address them while we are while we are on the presentation tonight, which is being recorded so that you can revisit it later. And those that couldn't join us tonight will also have the opportunity to see it and learn from it as well. Right now, I'm pleased to introduce Michael Ramsey, our Senior Vice President and Chief Marketing Officer, who has a great message about our brand. Take it away, Michael.
Fantastic, Freddie. Thanks so much. We are super excited to be here with you this evening, and ditto to everything everyone's already said. Thanks for taking a few minutes out of your evening to join us. We have so many exciting things to talk about, so we'll just kind of keep moving through the slides here. You know, last year, some of you may have heard us talk about some market research that we did. We went to cities across the country and we talked to people who were not in scouting but should have been in scouting, parents of elementary school age kids. And we started talking about scouting. And what we realized pretty quickly was that they weren't seeing us in their communities. They weren't seeing us in the media. You know, they weren't seeing scouting in their communities. And we realized, well, when those flyers show up, hey, we need to be aware of scouting and the great things that go on. And as Roger said, we're coming out strong. We built a campaign last year that drove a 40% increase in traffic to viascout.org, and we're building on that this year, and we're going to walk you through what we're doing. And by the way, part of our strategy was to start a lot earlier, and guess what? This started 2 days after July 4th, so we're already in market. So, hey, let's click ahead on the slides, and I'll show you what we're talking about. So, we're calling this surround sound for fall recruitment marketing materials. You're going to see us streaming on national television. We're going to talk about that in a few minutes. We're streaming social media ads right now, influencers. We have a suite of influencers that are working in Spanish and English across the whole country in channels where people are expecting to see marketing messages. Proactive PR kicks off in about a week. You're going to see a national press release that goes out. In fact, David Montgomery has interviews tomorrow at noon with major media outlets. So we're already starting that machine up. Retargeting. We talk about this a lot. Have you ever gone out on the internet and searched for, I don't know, hiking boots, and then an ad for hiking boots follows you all across the internet? Well, guess what? That's retargeting. It's a paid marketing media tactic, and we're doing that as well. So if someone searches for how do I join scouting, they're going to see an ad, and that ad will follow them across until they go to viascout.org, of course. Website display ads, Google search. Listen, Google is the 800-pound gorilla. One of the exciting things that we see on search is that people are not necessarily searching for after school activities and things like that. They're searching for, how do I join Cub Scouting? How do I join Scouts? It drives huge amounts of traffic to viascout.org. Video pre-roll. What's video pre-roll, you may ask? Hey, you know when you go to YouTube and you're searching for a recipe, how to make something or how to sharpen your chainsaw blade, and you have to watch that little video that comes up, that commercial? That's video pre-roll. It's a commercial. We're doing that this year as well. You're welcome. It may drive you crazy, but it's really an effective tactic. Then content integration. Content integration is like content that you would see on a web magazine. We'll see an example of that later on, but it's highly targeted. Some of these sites that are targeted specifically have millions upon millions of followers. So let's move ahead on the next slide. So you're going to see lots, and by the way, these are out there in market now, and have been very effective. You're going to see social video and ads. Let's take a look at the first one.
Hi, this is Hannah. I'm a Denchi from Scout Camp, and this is a day in life camp.
By the way, I think that commercial was shot just north of St. Louis. It's a real live camp. You know, that may seem kind of quiet and kind of like, hey, it looks like day camp. What our market research says is that parents don't know what we do, right? Somebody said this earlier. We meet in the church basement and camp in the woods, and people really don't know what scouting's all about. They love the idea, but they don't know what it looks like. So some of these types of commercials are designed to introduce the idea of scouting, what really goes on for younger kids. Here's another one. And there's a lot more where that came from. In fact, there are dozens of different ones, including in Spanish language. I think this one will tee up as well. the way, these are running in all 50 states, including Puerto Rico. Hey, here's an example of content integration. Scary Mommy, don't let the name of the site throw you off. This page has over 6 million followers. And what you're going to see on that page, if you go search for it, is articles embedded in the content. It's paid placement. For example, here's one. We all want our kids to make it on their own. Here's how Scouting America can make it happen. I love this article because about 2 days after it hit this site, someone called me and said, I just found this really great article out on the web about scouting. You should read it. And it turns out we had placed it. So you're going to see these all across the web as well. So next slide. Earned media. Earned media is code for public relations. On August the 6th, we'll drop a national press release talking about scouting. By the way, you'll have access to this on our brand center, so you'll have versions of it that you can use locally as well. And again, we're already kicking this off tomorrow with our own David Montgomery, who's doing media interviews. Hey, by the way, Roger mentioned this. David Montgomery came on board to support us in November, so we really just missed the end of recruitment season last year. But David's going to be with us through March of next year. And we've spent a lot of time with David, and he shot a number of really great commercials with us. We're going to take a look at some of those now. But if you haven't seen any of David Montgomery's content or the interviews or things that he said about scouting, there is no more authentic spokesperson for scouting than David Montgomery. He grew up in Cincinnati and basically says he's the man he is today because he was in scouting. There's a whole series of commercials, some on social media. Let's take a look at a few. Here's the first one.
I'm passing the football to someone who's a pro at making s'mores.
I'm passing the football to somebody who knows a thing or two about being a rookie.
I'm passing the football to someone still thinking about their Pinewood Derby win.
I'm passing the football to someone who did both scouting and sports.
I'm passing the football to a friend in scouting.
So these are all already out there. You'll see them on Reels, on Instagram, you see them on Facebook. You're going to see them on TikTok as well. Yes, we're on TikTok. And honestly, the reception we've had on TikTok as a platform is a lot more positive than we've seen on Facebook. It's really interesting. Hey, here's another one. This may seem kind of simple, but this plays off very popular social media memes right now. Next slide. So not just small social media reels, but also full-blown commercials. As I mentioned, we're going to talk about streaming here in a second, but I want to show you a couple of the larger commercials. Let's take a look at this first one.
You don't start with a touchdown. You start with a first down. Nah, cut that. You start by learning the playbook and getting in shape. It takes a lot of preparation to succeed. For me, it started long before my rookie season. I learned a lot about teamwork and perseverance and scouts. And it all began on day one as a Cub Scout. Scouting gave me skills and experiences that helped me get to where I am today and where I'm going tomorrow.
Fantastic. Hey, Brady, let's go ahead and run the other one. There you go.
All right, let's get it. First badge. My first merit badge was cooking. Putting seasonings on food, best thing in the world. First trophy, Pinewood Derby. Had a car built like a taco, bright yellow, unbeatable. First championship. Can't remember this one, but me and my teammates are preparing to win one right now as we speak.
That's a true story about his Pinewood Derby car. One of the first conversations I had with David, I asked him, I said, did you build a Pinewood Derby car? And he said, yeah, I broke a lot of records on the field in sports. He said, but I really killed it in Pinewood Derby. He loves it, and it was a yellow taco car. So here's what we're really excited about. We've got social media, we've got digital, we've got search, we've got influencers, content integration, retargeting, and for the first time, we are streaming commercials on national television. We are streaming across Disney Plus, across Hulu, across YouTube TV and ESPN. And by the way, this started about 3 days after July the 4th. We were committed to making sure that our content was in market so parents could see it. They're aware of scouting before they pick up those flyers at school. It's already happening now. Hey, so next slide. We are just literally a few weeks into this. We've already had 3.7 million impressions of these videos and this content on the site, almost 2 million video views. This has driven over 38,000 brand new visits to beascout.org. The cool thing about working in digital is that you can see a path. If somebody sees an ad and they click on it, it takes them to beascout.org, and we know whether they landed on the site and left or they searched for a unit. Over 38,000 people have already been to beascout.org. And again, we've seen a 40% increase in traffic on this. So it's really important what Roger said earlier. People are visiting that site, they're asking for information, they're trying to join. You got to go into that site and follow up on those leads in beascout.org. Hey, look, all these assets are available to you on the BSA Brand Center. So, or now the Scouting America Brand Center. So if you go to the Brand Center, you'll find ads, logos, commercials. All these are high-res commercials, by the way. You can download them, use them locally. There's a QR code. By the way, this is going to be recorded. You can share this later on, or go to Google and search for Scouting's Brand Center. There are new customizable templates on the site as well, so it will help you actually build your own local version of ads. Those are pretty cool. Listen, what can you do? Download these assets, share them on your social media channels. We need to mobilize the entire scouting community to post and share so people can like and follow and find your units and they can join. By the way, you can go to our YouTube page, which has a great collection of assets and resources, and share them straight from YouTube to your own pages, to Facebook, to Instagram, to TikTok. It's all kinds of great stuff. Listen, we're super excited about the campaign. It's up and running, has been up for weeks now, and will continue running again through the end of October. So we're really excited about it. Lots more to come. Freddie, back to you.
Thanks so much, Michael. It's awesome that you've made these resources so readily available to all our councils so they can find their own materials to market, and they can tell our story to parents who can have kids that benefit from our programs. Thanks again for all you and your team have done.
Absolutely.
Now, over 1,500 of you have joined us tonight, and to carry on a continuation of a theme, thank you for taking your time tonight so that you'll be better prepared to share our message to those who can benefit from our program. Now it's time for our round robin of best practices from the field. And to kick it off is going to be Ben Buckalow, who is the Director of Field Services from the Atlanta Area Council. He'll be followed by Chris Cowley, Deputy Scout Executive from Central Florida Council. And then Wendy Nelson will present. She's a District Director of Field Services from the Greater Alabama Council. And then you'll hear from our National Manager for Membership Growth, Otto Gutthard. Ben, take it away.
Thank you, Freddie. Appreciate that. Excited about tonight. I tell you what, it's cool listening to Michael show all those things that are going on, and those things are definitely needed for recruiting and growing scouting. What the team now, who it's pretty cool being on here with Wendy and Chris, very smart people and have done this for a long time and have a successful track record with recruiting. Even with those cool fancy videos, you still need to get down to the nitty gritty and do some blocking and tackling and recruiting. And so what Wendy, myself, and Chris are going to talk to you about is the actual sign-up nights, how to execute on those. And then if you don't have school access, Chris has got some tips to talk about how to overcome those. So it was interesting watching the chat go through some of the questions, and somebody put in here, be present, be seen, and share your scouting story. And that really is what it's about when you're going through these sign-up nights. So what I want to share first is the volunteer staff collaboration, which really means partners. For a long time, a lot of times the staff are driving the membership campaigns. We really encourage volunteers working right alongside the staff, the executives, to do that. One thing it does is assess. You need to work with your Cub Masters committee chairs to assess the PAC needs. You need to learn which schools you need to be working with, establish recruiting capacities, which is very interesting. We'll touch on that a little bit. Sign up logistics, which you'll hear some from Wendy, and then share resources for youth and adults so they can be stronger leaders and scouts. So the next slide, I'm going to talk about what some actual data is from 2024 when the volunteers are leading these signups with the support of the staff. We find stronger staff volunteer partnership happens when you work together. Your retention is likely to increase. We found that families who meet leaders the night of the sign-up are more likely to stay in scouting. And then we increase parents stepping up as volunteers. I see several comments in the Q&A about how do we get more leaders. Having your leaders stand up there, talk, and identify with other family members is going to help with that. Quick things to learn when it is more volunteer-led. Just in a sample set, we had about half of our signups in Atlanta were volunteer-led, and we found that it was a 65% closing rate, meaning people signed that actual night versus 85%. However, the residuals, meaning people who signed up a little later, increased. But my takeaway on that one is really focus on closing the deal, because a lot of energy went into getting those families there at that sign up night. So Wendy, I think you're up next to talk about an actual one-on-ones tips for sign up night.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Ben. We've shown that the most successful nights to have your signups are going to be on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday evenings. We all know Monday can get a little hectic and overwhelming getting the week started. And Fridays, everyone's ready to start the weekend. So getting those families out there on Friday night is going to be a little more difficult. As I go through each one of these, you know your council and your pack better than anybody else. So some of these may not apply, but what we have found nationally is Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday are going to be your most successful night. Remember, your sign up night is not a parent orientation night. Direct your parents to the parent orientation night after the sign up night. At that parent orientation night, you're going to know what your needs are as far as leadership, and you'll be able to recruit them. Sign up night is probably going to be pretty chaotic, hectic, and you'll be able to share more information with your parents at that orientation night. Now, if on sign up night, someone's like, I want to be a leader, by all means, grab that leader application and then get them on board for the parent orientation night. Location, location, location. We know how important it is. When possible, have it at the school. Your families know the school, they're familiar with it, they're more apt to show up at the school than at the local church, community center. So when it is possible, do have it at the school. Yard signs and posters. I saw something in the chat. I believe Chris is going to talk a little bit more about that, but absolutely get permission before you put a yard sign somewhere. But talk to your local community partners, your chartered organizations, your churches, your board members, your PAC leadership, your families, your neighbors, and get yard signs out. We've got some beautiful blue, yellow, and white signs. We have yard sign blitz where we put them all out before the first day of school. So do that. Posters, if you can get them in your local libraries, community centers, anywhere that families are going to be able to see them, but always ask permission before posting them everywhere. Flyers, at least 2 weeks before your sign up night, have flyers sent home so that families have the opportunity to be prepared to come to the sign up night. So 2 rounds of flyers if possible, 2 weeks prior, and then a day or two before the sign up night as a friendly reminder. In classroom rallies, the most successful recruitments have happened within classroom rallies. We understand it's not always going to be possible to get into the classroom, but if you are able to talk to your school leadership and have them allow you to come into the classrooms, by all means do that. If not possible, see if you can do a gym sign up, a lunchroom. Any opportunity to get into the classroom is going to be your best bet. Sign up night, remember, it is not a PAC meeting. Families show up to sign up, something that I live by. They are there that evening. They've spent the time to come out there. They want to sign up and get on their way. Direct them to the parent orientation afterwards. As Ben was saying earlier about the message from one of our viewers, I want to give her a shout out, Christy Ryan. She is the one that said, she had a pro tip to be present, be seen, and share your scouting story. So Christy, thank you for that. And if you didn't see it, she had a Back to the Pack event this evening with over 50 contacts. Hopefully we'll be able to turn them over into new scouts. And with that, I'll turn it back over to Ben, and he'll tell you a little bit more about traditional recruitment, including Back to the Pack.
Yeah, 50 is awesome. So a couple of events on the next slide. When it talks about being seen, being present, and sharing your story, do your best to do all of these. Back to the Pack is where you get all your leaders back together, because y'all know that first meeting, if you're trying to recruit people and do an orientation for your leaders, it's tough. Do it before school starts. School open houses, for some communities, that's happening now. They'll be happening in a few weeks, but take advantage of that. Sign up night, as Wendy talked about, at the school. A fun PAC event, which is done at your PAC level. That could be the reptile person, the magician, something with the local fire department. Just a fun event to get people coming to. It also gives those new scouts something right away to come to and get hooked into scouting. And then your parent orientation. Best one I ever seen is when they took all the children off to an activity and they pretty much locked all the adults in the chapel and gave assignments and didn't move on until you did, because this is a volunteer organization. You have to have people step up. And so that was a great way to do that. Chris, You want to talk to us about how do we do this if we don't always have the school access and a couple other things?
Yeah, sure. So thanks, Ben. Thanks, Wendy. Glad to be here tonight. But one of the things, unfortunately, we all don't have school access for everything. We've seen a lot of information and questions and tactics in the chat and the Q&A already. So we're going to talk about different things, but the biggest thing is marketing. We listened to Michael and all the different things that's happening, things we can download to the brand center. And we're going to talk about flyers, yard signs, posters. We talked about the videos, peer-to-peer recruitment. We all know our scouts are the best recruiters. They are absolutely better than us at recruiting their friends into scouting so they can enjoy the movement. And then we'll talk a little bit about geofencing with social media. But what we're going to really look for is what we can do outside the box if we're not going to be able to be in schools. And so when we move into that, we can go to the next slide, and we're actually going to see a Cub Scout pack that did one of their meetings since they weren't in the school. They had their meeting actually at the fire station. It was a great thing. The firefighters loved it. A lot of them were scouts, and they had their first meeting there, and they had some interested new scouts that were coming from open house. So again, just any way we can get information to families to have them show up to see how fun Cub Scouting is. And having it at the fire station was great so the parents could understand the community involvement that scouting helps enable their scouts. So it's really exciting, but biggest thing we want to continue to do is try to get information out. So as we move toward that, we don't have opportunities to go to a classroom. A lot of principals will let us do the car rider line. So what we do is we get our dens and our Cub Scouts all excited, show up to school in uniform, and then at the car rider time, at pickup time, and a drop-off time, you've got your Cub Scouts and adult leaders, once you get the approval from the school, with yard signs and just showing the excitement of scouting. One of the things that some councils also do, and I would highly encourage councils to do this, is incentivize your Cub Scout packs. Make contests, see what's going to happen to have the best pack, showcase what they did to see how many kids can show up to the sign up night wherever it's going to be. Again, it doesn't have to be at the school. We want to make sure we think outside the box. There are no constraints to scouting because it's so awesome. We want to make sure we're continuing to figure out new ways so we can expand the net and make the net as big as possible so we can get as many families. So the Rider 9 is one of the opportunities we can do that. The next slide as we move into the things is non-traditional recruiting. So sometimes we're not going to have any access to school. So what are we going to do? We can't step on foot on school. It's unfortunate, but a lot of times the school will still allow us to have a flyer. And what's the most important thing that can be on the flyer? As we move into the next slide, it's Be a Scout. We want to make sure you use some really cool QR codes. Make sure beascout.org is all over the flyer. You want to make sure and drive as much attendance to this website, which has been enhanced. It works great. And we're really looking forward to the fall with all the different leads and marketing things that are going to happening from national ads running, all the different social media contacts, pushing everything. Be a Scout should be flooded with lots and lots of different opportunities for scouts to join. So what do you have to do to make sure? You got to make sure Be a Scout is updated. Make sure that your Cub Scout pack has all the information of who should be contacted, where you meet, and a little blurb about what Cub Scouting is and what's great about your Cub Scout pack, as you can see from the examples here. And a lot of times the contact can be the new member coordinator. As we go into the next slide, it's really important that your Cub Scout pack has a new member coordinator. This individual can be listed again on Be a Scout. They serve as the resource. So you have your Cub Master and the den leaders who are there. They're excited about delivering the program. The new member coordinator is really there to make sure all of the new members, their families feel welcome, they're informed, and they're ready to start their scouting adventure. And over at Outfitters has got some great things and merchandise available. You can use the QR code here. All these products are going to be made up, but they have shirts for the new member coordinator, the polo. They have different pins, they have patches, they have hats, they have neckerchiefs, everything you could think of. Please make it a chance to go look at the QR code and make sure and visit this site because our new member coordinators are absolutely crucial to helping increase our net to make sure we get more and more families to join scouting. Another thing that your 20 councils have right now are these really cool cards. It's kind of hard. I got to put it in front of my face, I think. These cards, if you can go to the next slide, are actually, because that's not working, the new den meeting decks. These are absolutely amazing. Right now, there 20 councils have them, and they're going to go live, and we're going to get more and more. What's great about this is this was introduced at the national annual meeting, and 20 councils were able to pre-order them, and they've already sold out 3 times. So we're making sure we get more and more card decks in all of the scout shops as soon as possible. But this gives our new leaders an opportunity to get knowledge as easy as possible from these cards, so they're ready to present the exciting scouting program. This is just another opportunity that we can give the resources to all of you and all of our newly recruited leaders to make it as easy as possible to showcase how much fun scouting is at the Den meeting. So if you get a chance, look at these. They're really amazing, and hopefully they're going to be showing up into everyone's scout shops really, really soon. We talked a little bit about peer-to-peer recruitment. Again, our scouts do an amazing job. Make sure you can go to the brand center. You can get these cards. This is the best way for you. Give a bunch to each one of your dens. When I was a den leader, we used these, and we gave our scouts the cards so they can talk to their friends and just give them a card. Give them a card. Make sure this is the cool card. We used to call it. This is the cool card, and they would give it to their friend. They can take the QR code, and it's going to take them to get them to join scouting, get all the information to the parents. But make sure we're equipping our leaders and our kids with the resources they need for peer-to-peer recruitment. We go to the next slide, and you're going to see what we're talking about. Just want to make sure there's lots of different opportunities at the brand center. So we can go to the next slide and showcase. Again, Be a Scout is everywhere. And also what we want to look at is social media. We want to make sure we're looking at different ways we can increase our net, literally virtually, for grabbing as much attention for scouting. So we talk about geofencing. When we look into the next slide, we can really talk about what it looks like. On the right, you can see the city of Dublin's got a net around it. You get a chance to actually go into geofencing, go into Facebook with Meta, and it also includes Instagram, and you get to decide from a zip code how far out you want to promote your scouting sign-up night. You can be 10 miles. You can even actually decide who you want to actually promote to. I suggest the moms. I know in my household with my wife and my two kids, my wife is definitely the person who's able to get the boys. She tells me where to go with the boys, and it works really well. But you can decide who is actually going to see these ads and triggers information that gets put up into their social media feed. So this is another great example of just an opportunity to increase what we're doing with increasing the net for Cub Scouting. Maybe not because we don't have access to the school. So I'm going to throw it back over to Ben, who's going to talk about new packs, something that Roger talked about at the beginning. Ben?
Yeah. Thank you, Chris. That was a lot of good stuff. Appreciate you running through that. I like this image next. It's like, you've ever been to a sign-up night and recruited 70 new scouts and gave them over to 5 leaders? It just doesn't work. One answer is to recruit leaders. We definitely need more leaders. But the other is to recruit packs, and these need to be done strategically. You got to think about things like what night they meet on, what religious faith they have. You want to meet every need to every person in the community. But we're not going to get into how to start new packs tonight, but we just wanted to put the emphasis on there that you always got to be looking, because we want to serve everyone. A couple of things on the next slide that I have listed is how to identify where you might need to start a new pack. Pack capacity, the 70 scouts and 5 leaders, it's not going to work. So you need to understand what is best for that pack. A pack to school ratio, depending on the size of the school. If 2 schools recruit you 70 scouts, then that may be too many schools. So they may need another pack to recruit from that other school. Pack to troop ratio. We would love for every pack to have an associated troop that works hand in hand together. That would be the other one. The other thing you got to keep in mind are your 4th and 5th grade girls. Where are they going to cross over to? Do you have enough packs to make sure they stay in, and also troops for them to get into? So we hope that kind of wraps up our piece, at least for me. And I think, Chris, I think you back on for membership renewals.
Yeah, thanks, Ben. So one of the things I got to introduce Otto in a second, but remember, we had a lot of new people join throughout the year, especially in August, September, and October. And so we've created a short video to just remind everyone how to renew their membership. So that's the first QR code to the left. And remember, our units have to renew too. So it's a separate process. So again, there's a whole bunch of information and resources on the right, the QR code to the right, to make sure you have the resources to talk to your den, or make sure your pack renews. And if you're talking about the QR code to the left, and make sure you get renewed. It's important to do. And with that, I'd like to turn it over to Otto, who's going to talk a little bit more and more about unit renewals. Otto.
And thank you, Chris. And next slide, please, Bertie. Great. So again, we want to welcome all of our new families that are joining, but definitely want to make sure that we're keeping our existing families. So in terms of the unit renewal process, units can renew through the organization manager and My Dad Scouting. And just if all leadership is correct, simply acknowledge the renewal. Next, review and update the unit PIN used for Be a Scout. And then choose your payment option, be it online or at the local council office. Next slide, please, Bertie. The unit membership renewal, which is located under the roster section in Organization Manager in My Dad Scouting. Select your members eligible to renew and click the renew button. This opens a renew page for confirmation. Just a reminder, the e-check payment has replaced the ACH payment. And you also have the option, of course, to pay at the local council office. And then let's go to the individual membership renewal. Next slide, please. Yeah. Okay, so email notifications are going to go out 60 days before the member expires. New this fall, we are adding text notifications to the sequence of emails that are currently sent out. And that will start about 45 days before the member expires. Notifications, as you can see, are going to be visible in both Scout Book and My Dad Scouting. And members will have the option to renew multiples. And again, choose the pay online option, or you can also pay at the local council. So with that, back to you, Freddie.
Thank you guys for a great round robin. Appreciate all that very, very helpful information. Well, now we have someone to introduce who is a brand spanking new Executive Vice President of Membership Engagement, Sean McGinnis. Sean, we'd love to hear from you.
Good evening, Freddie, and good evening, all. Thrilled to be with you and thrilled to be supporting this extraordinary mission. I'm super excited about you all and the fun and the passion that you're bringing to my first and for many of your fall recruitment endeavors. Roger said something interesting when he spoke. We got together this week and we reflected on what we're best at doing. What can we own? And I think for 115 years, we've been best at forming young people of purpose. And that resonates with me. Not just people of purpose, but young people who thrive mentally, emotionally, physically, socially. And we do that by helping them, one, have fun, because this is going to be a very, very fun fall campaign. We help them build courage, confidence, connection through interacting with you, our volunteers, and our staff professionals. We can't do it alone. None of us can. We're a village in the classic sense of the word. And my encouragement to you all is, don't do it alone. You know, we're all in this together, and we're all in this for a very specific mission. We've got some very exciting things coming through Outfitters, and if you could put up the Outfitters slide. So we have an amazing team at Outfitters. Those of you that know them well, I'm just getting to know them and I love them. We have some customizable promotional materials for all the local councils and units to use. These can be shipped to you in small orders, very fast. So durable stickers, photo boards, program signs, lawn signs, banners. There is just a whole host of things. 29,000 new Cub welcome packs have been sent out with patches that you've already ordered. Please take advantage of Outfitters. It's a resource, it's an asset to all of you, and we're very excited about it. I'd also like to just close by saying we're a grassroots school and community-driven campaign organization. It's not to say that we don't use every channel at our disposal, but get out there, smile, because there's one thing that creates an energy that's unique, is when we smile, we laugh. Sometimes we may cry together, but have a fantastic fall campaign. And I'm just excited to be in the field and in the trenches with you. Over to you, Freddie.
Thank you so much, Sean. We see that some of you are still putting input into our Q&A section. Please continue to do that. Those that we aren't able to address tonight, we will get back with you and give you responses. Veteran professional Chuck Brasfield has recently taken the position of Executive Vice President of Council Operations, and now he has a word for all of us. Chuck?
Thanks, Freddie. Scouting is all local, and families join when it's easy, organized, and fun. Your local council has been planning the fall campaign all year. They have a strategic membership plan for your community. I urge you to partner closely with your council. Your district executive is a powerful resource. Lean on them and have a great recruiting season. Thank you so much for all you do for scouting. You volunteer and give so much. Thank you. Freddie, back to you.
Thanks for those words, Chuck. Well, at the beginning of our program, we heard from 2/3 of our national key three, our national president and our national scout, our chief scout executive. And now it's time to hear from the final third. To close out our presentation tonight, welcome National Commissioner Devang Desai.
Thank you so much, Freddie. And it is so awesome to be here with each and every one of you tonight. 1,300, I should say specifically, of our incredible scouting friends. And so tonight, as we wrap up our fall membership kickoff, I want to take a moment to say thank you once again to each of our dedicated and creative volunteers. People like Sophia, whose comments I've been reading in the chat, who are out there being very creative on helping us recruit more young people into this awesome movement. Each and every one of you are the heart that makes Scouting America come to life every single day. Your time, your energy, and your belief in this mission are what keeps it alive and continues to inspire every one of us. Every single meeting you lead, every youth that you mentor, and every challenge that you continue to take on, every one of those matters. Thank you for helping shape lives, helping build character, and for making a difference. As we've heard tonight, this is our moment, a moment to reignite the flame of scouting across every single community in America. Let us go forward after this call tonight with incredible purpose, as Sean said, with passion and with the confidence that what we do today does and will shape the leaders of tomorrow. I know all too well that I would never be serving as your national commissioner without the dedication and passion of Scout volunteers just like you, who asked me and my family to join Cub Scouts when we emigrated to the United States from East Africa at my local elementary school. And for all of my Scout leaders who took the time to invest in me by helping me become the better person that I am today. And so on behalf of Brad Tilden, Roger Crone, and myself, thank you for all you do, and let's keep the spirit of scouting strong. Good luck out there, and let's continue to adventure on. Back to you, Freddie.
Thank you so much. Friends, fellow volunteers, we have a story to tell, and we have a program, the greatest youth-serving program the world has ever known, that sells itself once we get the word out to parents, to guardians. You know, we change lives, not just the lives of the young people that we serve, but we change the lives of their families, and we change the lives of the communities in which they live. It's an awesome responsibility, but what great joy it is to introduce scouting to new families. And that's our great opportunity for this fall. Again, thank you for spending the time tonight to participate in this program as we kick off our membership drive for the fall. Good luck to all of you. Thank you for all that you do. And let's get those kids in the program. Good night.